Hello everyone, and in this video we're going to talk about types of numbers. Types of numbers can be the first topic you hear when you learn an academic course. I'm sure that most of you, when you learn in high school, you used to count almost every day, but you never asked yourself the question, is there any difference between the numbers? I know that you knew what is a positive number, what is a negative number, a fraction, rational number, maybe irrational number, things like this. In this video, we are going to make a difference or to classify the types of numbers and make an order in those numbers and how they began, how they developed, and how they actually began. This is a very big topic. You can learn numbers for your whole life. But in this 10 minutes video, we will talk about the basic thing that you need in order to succeed in your calculus course. The first type of numbers is natural number. The symbol that represents natural number is n with that stick near it. Natural numbers are the numbers, natural numbers. Natural numbers are the numbers of type of like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the numbers that you can count. It doesn't include 0. It doesn't include fractions like 1.5. Things like negative numbers, square root of 2, rational number. We'll talk about it in the next few minutes. This is the first first type of numbers that human being used. Maybe those numbers started from our ancestors. When they went on hunting, they had to know how many animals they brought to their cave. If they could kill 4 bears, 7 elephants, I don't know, things like this. So they had to invent a method that they can count numbers. Count how many prey they killed and bring to their caves to eat. As time passed by, the second type of number were invented is the real numbers. Integers. Integer number, the symbol for this is Z with a stick inside it like this. Z. Integer number represents the natural numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, things like that. Also, they include 0 and negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, and things like this. Negative numbers may represent something that you own to someone. Like if you go to the bank and you have $100 in your bank, you can take this money and use them. But if you owe to the bank $100, it will be like a -100. You have a $100, but you can't use it because you owe them to the bank. So these negative numbers are numbers that made of natural number and a minus that can represent that you don't have these numbers. You own these numbers. You own someone this quantity. The third type of numbers is the rational number. Rational number, and the symbol for those numbers are Q. Rational number means rational. It's not a logical here or something that you can understand in a rational way. Rational number came from the word ratio. Rational number is all the numbers that you can represent as the ratio between all the integer numbers. Like say 2 divided by 3, half, 5 divided by 7, -2 divided by -3, 4 divided by -5. It can be the ratio between all the integer numbers, but except, of course, you can divide it by 0. Numbers like this, like 5 divided by 0, are not included here because it's undefined number. So you can use any number you want except division by 0. Anyway, you can divide, you can put 0 in the denominator. Where does those numbers came from? Let's say you go to a store and you need to buy a pipe. You want to buy something in your house and you need a pipe. You came to the store and the only pipes they have is pipes of, like, say 12 meters long. It's a very long pipe. You need only 2 meters of it. So how you represent 2 meters of it? 2 meters is you have to divide this pipe in parts. So this part is some sort of a ratio from all this pipe. So how can I represent, let's say, 4 meters? 4 meters is a third of the whole pipe. It's like 12 divided by 3. So this is an irrational number. It's 4. But 4 is also an irrational number because you can write 4 as 4 divided by 1. And it equals 4. So this is how the rational number invented. When we needed a part of something, rational numbers means that we need not the whole number, we need a part of it. And as you can see, 4 is also a natural number. Or maybe minus 12 divided by 4 is minus 3. Minus 12 divided by 4 is a rational number. And minus 3 is an integer number. So as you can say, group number 3 includes all types of numbers from group number 2. And group number 2 has all the numbers from group number 1. So we can write this mathematically that natural numbers sits inside integer numbers. Let's say this like R. It calls a set. I don't want to use the word set because we don't want to talk about another topics. But natural numbers are part of integer numbers. This is the symbol how to represent a set, subset, or a part. In our explanation, to understand that this is a part of something, it's enough. And integer numbers are part of rational numbers. Let's see what other types of numbers do we have. The first type of numbers is irrational number. Irrational number is a very strange number because people invented it later than the rational number, and it was investigated maybe in the Pythagorean area, maybe like 500 years before BC, when the Pythagoras used to explore those numbers. Rational numbers, we represent them. Actually, we don't have a sort of representation for those numbers. We'll talk about it later. What is an irrational number? Irrational number is a strange number. It's a number that you can't write as a division between two integers. It's impossible. You will never find the exact numbers that you write. Let's say A is a rational number. You can never represent it as numbers that divide the numerator and denominator are integer numbers. It's impossible to represent it. One of those examples are square root of 2. You will never find any two integer numbers that when you divide them together, you will get a square root of 2. Why this number is very interesting. We all know the Pythagoras theorem, the Pythagorean theorem that says if you take a triangle and this side, let's say 1 meter, 1 meter, and if you want to find this side, it's 1 squared plus 1 squared. First of all, I want to say sorry for my poor English. I promise I will get better. I will teach you math and you will teach me English in the comments below. This is square root of 2. Square root of 2 is a rational number. This is irrational number. Irrational number, never mind. And 1 is an integer. It's also a rational number because you can rational, okay? Because you can represent 1 as 1 divided by 1, and if you have in the numerator and denominator two integer numbers, it's irrational numbers. What does it mean, square root of 2, and why it's so strange? Let's say you want to build a room. Your room is made of a square. Let's assume it's a square. The size of the wall is 100 meter and the length of the floor is 100 meter, and you want to take, I don't know, maybe some decoration to move from here to here. I don't know, maybe some wire of lamps, I don't know, something like this. Mathematically, the length of this wire should be square root of 2. But it's impossible because you can represent in nature irrational numbers. It doesn't exist in the natural world. Because you can write square root of 2 as any integer numbers. These numbers don't exist in nature. Don't exist in nature. Sorry for these stupid mistakes. This number don't exist nature. Exists at nature. But mathematically, this must be square root of 2. So if you want to measure it exactly, you will never find this is square root of 2. You will be something like around square root of 2, near a number that you can represent by division of 2 integers. So this is why this number is very interesting. And people that study math, like maybe 500 BC when Pythagoras lived, these numbers were fascinating those people because it's something that you can measure in a real life. But they exist everywhere. They exist in physics. They exist in all the calculation we make. And the first type of number called real numbers. Just a second, I will erase it. You can laugh at my English. Called real numbers. Real numbers are, we sign them like this with the R. Real numbers are all types of numbers. It's a big group that include all those numbers. It's natural numbers, negative numbers like integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers like pi, e, things like this. It's all the numbers in the world. Here, when I write R, I meant it this. R here means this is in Q. R is also Q, and everything located in real numbers. If we draw this, we can say that real numbers are the biggest part. Inside the real numbers, we have rational numbers, it's R. Inside rational numbers, we have integers, I. This R is Q. And inside I, we have a small group, it's relatively small, it's kind of very big, that's called N, natural numbers. The rational numbers, irrational numbers are here. Somewhere they're not included in rational numbers, they are in real numbers. Somewhere here. You can represent irrational numbers using this science. It's from set theory. I don't want to talk about it because it's not the issue of this video. You can represent them as irrational numbers are the numbers that located in real numbers minus q. So we are left with this part of numbers. Those are all irrational numbers. Of course, there are many types of other numbers like complex numbers, it's called octonions, things like this, but we won't talk about it. Anyway, calculus, don't talk about any numbers that beyond those 5 things, or actually beyond those 4 things, because real numbers are everything. Calculus, you will talk about real numbers. Everything is surrounded with real numbers, and sometimes it's surrounded with natural numbers, like we talk about in the next videos, like limits and things like this, limits of theories and things like this. I hope you enjoy. I would like you to write in my comments, give me a like on this video, and we'll see you in the next videos.